since you said that you don't want to stick to the strict procedures of CPC, CRPC, and arbitration allows you a little more flexibility there. So, and that's how you decided on that one thing. So, as law students, how should one go about picking or choosing the right field? And when is the right time? Because, a lot of students in their first year come up to me and ask, ma'am, I don't know which subject I like. I don't know which field to choose. And I'm like, you're in your first year. You've explored nothing. You have no experience at all. And stop worrying about choosing the right thing and just, go on, get experience in almost everything. So, what all parameters should be there? Should one consider before jumping into that one field and sticking around? And when should they do it?
I think so. I'd like to give you two different perspectives. I don't think there can be a simple answer to this question as to which fields one should choose for and one should consider. So my idea is that, okay, I'll tell you what confusion I had as a law student. So the problems that I used to face as a law student back then were, A, I did not have any godfather and I did not know anybody in my college who was practicing and doing pretty well, whose chamber I could have joined or whose guidance I could have taken. So that is one issue because, sometimes you need to have that kind of network in your college where you can just reach out to somebody comfortably, because reaching out to your college senior is always easier than reaching out to a stranger because, you have something in common, some connect, saying that, oh, I'm from X college. But I feel that, let things take their natural course. You can't really be picky and choosy from first year, and you can't be that highly ambitious that, I know nowadays people have started taking this call that, oh, I want to do arbitration. They know nothing about arbitration. They have never worked in a chamber which is doing arbitration. But maybe there is a recent trend where I feel that people are showing a lot of excitement towards arbitration. They're very enthusiastic and motivated to pursue a career in arbitration. And rightly so, because arbitration is like the future, and I think the present as well. What Mr. Fali Nariman rightly said, that the future of arbitration is bright because the future of litigation is not. But the only thing is that if it doesn't interest you and if you don't think this would be your cup of tea, then I don't think you should consider arbitration just because everybody else is doing arbitration. So it shouldn't be that you see me or anybody else doing arbitration and say, okay, arbitration will have this kind of lifestyle or probably that. So I don't think that should be the benchmark. What happens is do your internships, mix and match, and try to see. So, for someone like me who had no interest as such, I was sometimes interested in criminal. A lot of my internships were in criminal law. And that shows that I wasn't focused during my college, which is not a great thing. If you are focused, nothing like it. It's really nice and a great way to go ahead. But, if you really do not know and if you're really, really confused, then I your 5 years, you can divide your internships. You can do 12 internships. One you can do with a senior lawyer. One you can do perhaps with a arbitration lawyer. One with an IPR lawyer. One with a NCLT lawyer, somebody who's doing just IBC matters. One you can do with somebody who's doing only trial, criminal, lower court. One you can do with somebody who's just doing mix of matters. I think the best combination is somebody who's doing everything. So for instance, if I go independent tomorrow, and I will be taking all the matters that will come my way. I can't be picky and choosy that I will be doing only arbitration. And that has been my approach since forever. I mean, I like doing all kinds of matters. I do all kinds of matters. It's not just arbitration that I'm doing. So go for an office where you get your hands on all kind of matters, all these files of the cases, where the factual matrix would determine that the applicability of law is not just restricted to arbitration. And this way you will get some kind of introduction to different subjects. And you will perhaps understand, oh, this is how it works. Because reading the law in the law school will not give you that idea. Because law, I mean, at the end of the day, all statutes look the same. But the practical applicability, the way it is conducted, it's all very different. And the forums are very different, the way they are functioning. Lastly, I'd just like to say that, you need to understand that as a lawyer, we are social engineers and we need to adapt to the ever-changing society. Society doesn't remain the same. Like, for instance, few years ago, I don't think IBC had any scope. And now there are law firms which are only doing IBC matters. And, they're just surviving on IBC and they're doing a lot, very, very, very nice, much better than other fields. So as a lawyer, I mean, I was never comfortable with corporate law. But when I realized that arbitration has some applicability of company law also, because there may be a matter which concerns two companies and dispute wherein, shares and all are involved. You will need to get into that. And I was very uncomfortable initially, but then I eventually understood that this is something I will have to learn. Arbitration is what the society needs, and I'm a lawyer. So imagine if there are no cases of maritime arbitration in India. I'm just giving an illustration. And I am saying, oh, okay, I want to be an expert in maritime arbitration. And I'm practicing day and night. If there are no matters in the society, like what is the point? You understand, you may be an expert, but that expertise is not being put to anything. So whatever the society needs, you need to get accustomed and comfortable with that subject. I think that is the beauty of a true lawyer. And I think all of us must focus on that, because at the end of the day, we have to survive in the profession, especially for the ones who are, like not so privileged, and people who are not from, especially the first generation lawyers, I think should be very, very flexible and comfortable with all the subjects. So yeah, that's my suggestion.
Right, sir. So I think this is by Sampurna, or she wants to ask how, once you've decided on a particular area of law that interests you, how should one proceed thereafter?
If you know for sure what you want to do, you can start doing everything in that subject. Like I said, writing articles, research papers, reading judgments, reading interviews, attending networking events, conferences of that subject, and doing all your internships with lawyers or law firms which are doing that. And apart from that, what you can do is you can also consider LLM in that. If you, and diploma courses are there which you can take up. So yeah, I think these are a few things that you can do.
So I wanted to ask, like a lot of law students, first gen law students and lawyers reach out to us and say that, you do keep asking us to diversify our experiences in terms of internships. But what if we're not able to make it? We keep sending these emails to various law firms. We have good CVs. We have good prior experiences. We've got our research papers published. We've done almost everything and we still get rejected by the end of the day. So, how should one go about that? Of course, networking is one aspect and one really important thing here. But otherwise, if there's someone who, I mean, I don't think a good CV, not everyone has a good CV, a lot of them don't. And in order to make their CV good, they also need some internship experience. And even after sending emails, even after networking well, they're not able to make it. So, what would you suggest to these people? Especially the pandemic made it easier for some, but made it difficult for some as well. And
Yeah.
now
So
things are moving back to normalcy. How do you think now they should, go about it?
yeah, so that's a very pertinent question that you have put. And I agree with you that nowadays it is getting very, very difficult to get internships. And a lot of people, in fact, if you read one of my interviews, I think which I had given 4 years ago almost, I had written the same thing, that every time I would send an email, I would get a standard reply from every law firm that thank you for your interest in the firm. And we regret that there are no slots, and we'll let you know. We have kept your CV in the database. All of that. I mean, I've learned it now. So yeah, that's there because and firms honestly have no option, because sometimes there are too many applications coming up. Their seat inbox are overloaded with the applications, and students. The problem with students is that they do not diligently follow up, and I have written a lot of times as to what mistakes they make, and they don't understand, and they feel that they are doing nothing wrong, and the firm is being very rude and not responding. The idea is that by pestering somebody, by sending multiple emails, you will not be able to get an internship. What they do is, and everybody wants to focus only on the tier ones, the top ones. You never want to consider the ones. So if I ask anyone who's showing a lot of interest in internships, if I ask them, okay, please tell me how many law firms, boutique law firms are doing arbitration, they will be able to tell me one or two. Otherwise, everybody's going to take the name of the top five, six. Because if you're really passionate about arbitration, you need to make a proper list of the firms, and you can't just focus on tier one. You need to focus on tier two, tier three, independent lawyers. For some reason, many talented independent lawyers do not have interns. Nobody is applying, and they're not the popular choice among students for some reason. I don't know for what damn reason, but I think that if the idea is to learn, I don't think the name matters, because you know you need to get this thing in your head that merely because you're working in a tier one firm, it doesn't mean that you would get recruited there. I know quite a lot of people who had all top tier one internships in my college. They are perhaps still looking for a job. They are not sure about their career till now. It's been years, and I don't know what they are planning to do. So it will not guarantee, yes, the chances will increase that you may get a PPO if you're exceptional, but it's not the case that every person who has interned in those firms will get a PPO. Okay. So the mindset needs to change. You need to understand that apply to places which are doing day and night the same kind of matters. Like if you're doing arbitration, I can tell you 15 firms which you perhaps may not even have heard of or may have heard of, but not have applied, thinking that, oh, this is not the place where I want one. And some of them may be paying a lot of salary also. You may not know. So that's the thing. I think you need to do your proper research. Then you need to apply in advance. Then you need to be careful with your CV. It has to be nicely custom built. The covering letter has to be personalized and not a copy paste, which 90% of them are. And you can't just keep troubling people. Follow up in a decent manner with the office. Send a nice email. It may get ignored in one firm, two firms may ignore it. But every firm ignoring your diligent efforts is something which is hard to believe. And of course, networking is something. LinkedIn is an excellent platform where you can directly reach out to people. And you can bring this to someone's notice, that I have sent a CV. Can you please help me? Because, I'm not getting any response. That is still understood. But, just trying to say that, okay, I have sent a CV, I will get it. I need this internship now. We can't really, dictate the terms. And you need to apply in advance for sure. And you need to know if they are taking interns, what is the procedure. All of that has to be followed. And if you don't get any internship, you try to intern in different organizations then. Probably you can work with some NGO, you can work with some judge, you can probably work with some organization which is doing research, platforms like, there are so many, it's not just restricted to law firms. Law is very, very vast. You can work with some company with a PSU. So you need to broaden your horizon if you're not getting anything here in the fraternity of your choice, because they say that losers are not choosers. And if you feel that, we are the losers right now because we are not getting the internship that we want, so then you apply everywhere. You broaden your horizon. You can't be picky and choosy. The idea should only be to learn. That's it. That's all.